Sister Agatha was a very beautiful and kind Reverend sister. Everyone loved her because of her sweet voice. Each time she held the microphone to sing, it felt like heaven was smiling. People in the church would close their eyes and feel peace in their hearts. But that was not all about Sister Agatha. She loved helping people. She visited orphanage homes to play with the children. She also visited sick people in the hospital, prayed with them, and gave them hope. Everyone loved her, but not Sister Christabel. Sister Christabel nursed a deep hatred for Sister Agatha. From the very first day Sister Agatha entered the convent, Christabel felt jealous. She wanted Agatha to leave the convent. She tried many plans to make it happen, but none of her plans worked. Sister Agatha, on the other hand, had certain pages of her life she never truly spoke about. One Sunday, after a beautiful church service, something strange happened. A man walked up to Sister Agatha. He looked at her and said, "Chidera." As soon as Sister Agatha heard that name, she froze. Her eyes widened. Her heart started to beat fast. She didn't say a word. Slowly, she turned and walked back into the convent. Sister Christabel and Sister Sophia saw her face. It looked like she had seen a ghost. They glanced at each other, wondering what just happened. Back in the convent, Sister Agatha was restless. Her heart was full of fear. She sat on her bed, breathing fast. Sister Christabel walked up to her and asked, "Who was that man? And why did he call you Chidera?" But Sister Agatha did not reply. She only lowered her head, tears slowly falling from her eyes. The next morning, during the early morning mass, Sister Christabel noticed the same man. He was standing at the back of the church. Christabel saw her chance. She walked up to him. "Do you know Sister Agatha?" Christabel asked. "Yes, I know her," the man said, smiling. "She is from my village. Her real name is Chidera, and she was once married to Chief Douglas." Hearing this, Christabel's heart jumped with joy. "Ha! Bam ekumia. This is good news," she thought. She thanked the man and walked right back into the convent. By evening, the news had spread like wildfire. People were whispering everywhere, saying Sister Agatha was married before. Sister Agatha is not who we think she is. Sister Christabel had told everyone in the convent. Her words flew from ear to ear, like birds carrying juicy gossip. That evening during Mass, something terrible happened. One of the sisters stood up, her face red with anger. "She's a murderer," the sister shouted, pointing straight at Sister Agatha. Her voice echoed in the big quiet church. Suddenly, other sisters started shouting too. "Yes, she is," cried one. "She fooled us all," yelled another. Their voice got louder and louder, like a storm building up. Then someone threw a red apple at Sister Agatha. It wasn't a fresh shiny apple, but an old rotten one. Splat! It hit her white robe, leaving a red big stain. More apples flew through the air, splat, 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 one after another. They stained her clean white robe with red marks. It was a sad, messy sight. Sister Agatha stood there, her eyes wide and her heart heavy. But not everyone was sad. Sister Christabel stood at the back, her eyes shining with joy. Her smile grew bigger with each flying apple. She folded her arms, very proud of herself. Finally, she thought, "I've won." When the parish priest heard the news, he called Sister Agatha. Sitting before the priest, Sister Agatha felt weak. She could see Sister Christabel smiling with pride, thinking she had won. The priest looked at Sister Agatha with kind eyes and asked, "My daughter, is it true? Were you married?" Sister Agatha took a deep breath. Tears rolled down her cheek as she nodded slowly. Then she said, "Father, I never wanted to marry. My dream was to become a Reverend Sister from the time I was a little girl. But life was not kind to me. My father died when a tree fell on him during a storm. My mother was left with so many debts to pay. One of the people she owned was Chief Douglas. One day, Chief Douglas and his men came to our house. He took me away and made me his wife. I stayed in his house for many days and cried every night asking God to save me. One night, when he tried to touch me, I pushed him away. He fell and hit his head on something hard. Blood flowed from his head. I thought I had killed him. I was scared, but I ran away from the village. I left everything behind and came here to the convent." Her voice cracked with emotion and her face full of pain. "Since that day, I have not had peace. Every night I see his face in my dreams. I am sorry, Father. I am so sorry." Sister Christabel, who had been smiling, now looked sad. Her heart softened. She realized that she had been too quick to judge. The parish priest wiped his eyes and said, "My daughter, you have suffered so much, but you must face your past. It is time to go back and make peace." He placed his hand on Sister Agatha's head and prayed for her. The other sisters also joined in the prayer. Sister Christabel quietly asked God for forgiveness for her own jealousy. Weeks later, Sister Agatha decided to go back to her village. She was afraid, but she knew it was the right thing to do. Sister Sophia hugged her and said, "You are strong, Agatha. God is with you." When she reached the village, she saw familiar faces. People stared at her, whispering. Her heart was beating fast. She went straight to her mother's house. Her mother saw her and shouted with joy, "Chidera, oh my daughter." They hugged tightly, both of them crying. Her mother said, "I never stopped praying for you. I thought I had lost you forever." "Mama, I have come to make peace," said Agatha. Her mother nodded and said, "Then we must go and see Chief Douglas." With her heart beating fast, Sister Agatha followed her mother to Chief Douglas's house. As they entered, she expected to see his grave, but instead, she saw him sitting on a chair. He was old, weak, with grey hair. Her eyes widened in shock. "He is alive," she whispered. Chief Douglas looked at her with a blank face. It was as if he didn't know her. Agatha's mother explained. After that night, some of the neighbors found him and rushed him to the hospital. He survived but lost some of his memory. Tears of relief filled Sister Agatha's eyes. "Thank you, Jesus," she said. She went closer to Chief Douglas and knelt before him. "Please forgive me, sir. I was young and scared. I didn't mean to hurt you." Chief Douglas did not say anything. He just stared at her, not recognizing her. But his wife, who had been standing nearby, said, "My husband forgave you a long time ago. Please go in peace." Sister Agatha felt as if a load was lifted from her shoulders. She smiled for the first time in a long while. When she returned to the convent, Sister Christabel was waiting for her at the gate. Sister Christabel walked up to her and said, "I am sorry, Sister Agatha. I judged you without knowing your story." Sister Agatha smiled and hugged her. "It's okay, Sister Christabel. We all make mistakes." From that day on, the convent was filled with love and unity. Sister Agatha continued to sing with her beautiful voice. This time, her voice sounded stronger and sweeter. When Sister Christabel heard her sing, she no longer felt jealous. Instead, she smiled and joined her in singing praises to God. The end. If you watched it this very morning, thank you very much. God bless you. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. God bless you. Bye.